San Francisco Peace Treaty and American view on the San Francisco Peace Treaty is actually somewhat ambiguous. Still, I think that there is some problem in interpreting what the treaty means, or any of those mid-century agreements. In fact, we talk about this a lot. In fact, the legal arguments today for Taiwan's sovereignty and independence, based on the treaties going back to 1895, 1945, don't really mean very much anymore, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. That the reality is that is the past. It created at least the interpretation of an ambiguous situation that is yet to be determined. The real determination of Taiwan's status will be then hopefully what the Taiwanese people want, which is self-determination, but will depend on sort of the force of public opinion more than law, I think. The legal arguments aren't helping very much. And even within the United States, there's very, very conflicting interpretations of the treaties and the agreements and the Cairo declarations and all these things. There's great ambiguity and great differences in interpretation. But ultimately, so what? It doesn't matter. Because what matters now is the people of Taiwan say, we are a country, and we are the Republic of Taiwan.
你讲这个就这样合约吼，迄美国出个学者研究，嘛是无讲遮清楚到底要安怎解说这个学员。所以到尾来讲，决定就是讲上重要，就是讲咱台湾人要安怎决定。你若决定讲要成立一个国家，这就是现实。啊，这个法律对这个现实都无法度改变，这个现实就反正就是讲上重要是咱的决心，毋是这个法律的问题。
Can I add one more thing about the United States? And this ties to what I was saying in my speech. Part of the problem in the United States today, again, is the United States government, and I can't speak for everybody in the government, but a great number of them, I think, again, do not understand what's really happening in Taiwan today. And I think that they are being given the information from the government, from the Maingyo government, and also I think they're guided by wishful thinking. They wish the tensions in the strait would go away, and therefore whatever makes them seem like they're going away is what they want. And so the government's position on this is very frustrating at times. You'll even hear government officials talk about the Chinese people on both sides of the strait. And I stand up and say, and people like Jerome Keating stand up and say, well, wait a minute, they're not Chinese people on both sides. They're not. It's not the same thing. And so that's it. But also, I'd say, because of this ambiguity, I don't think it's very useful to focus on the history of the treaties. I just don't. I think that the most important thing is to focus on clarity of what the situation is in Taiwan now, today.
伊佫讲，这个咱应该爱注重这个，毋是历史，是即卖现实。伊佫讲，即卖美国政府对台湾无讲少了解，一方面就是讲，伊希望讲台湾这边无问题、安全。 无战争就好，另外就是讲一方面呢，伊的资料是马政府去予伊的，所以因对台湾的经营无讲少了解。
Okay, yeah, I'm in a way speaking a little to the question that came from the back. You know, why doesn't this translate into more votes? And the reality, I think, that you have to realize that Don's survey surveyed the youth in college, which is basically 18 to 22, sometimes maybe up to 27. But 4 years ago, these people were in high school and they could not vote. And even, you know, some of the people I gave to my students are 18 and 19 now, and they cannot vote now. As was just confirmed, the voting age in Taiwan is 20. So, and this is not Don's business, but someone should do a survey of people age 30 to 40 using the same questions and the same statistics that Don used. That's where you would find out why it doesn't translate into votes. So this is for someone else out there to. Don is telling us what the youth, what the future is. You have to figure why the other one didn't come around.
And by the way, I asked the question in the survey. I didn't show it to you today. I have that much data of the students. Are you satisfied with President Ma? And 70.4% of them said either not too satisfied or 非常, very, very much not satisfied. So they're not pleased with him. And I did a crosstab with the students who were old enough to vote, and the majority of them voted for Ma Ying-jeou. So the majority of students old enough to vote voted for Ma Ying-jeou. The majority of them who voted for Ma Ying-jeou, I think it was something like 66%, were not satisfied with his performance. So in the next round, don't count on them to vote for him again necessarily, assuming our friends in the Minjin-dang do a good job.
迄林教授讲吼，伊讲是安怎即个少年人认同台湾，那无法度变做选票。伊感觉讲，即个调查的人拢是18个甲22个中间，啊，一寡人4年前无投票权，因为台湾是20个才会当投票，所以可能这是一个原因。伊感觉爱调查应该调查讲30个甲34个中间的人，可能会当是安怎了解讲4年前是安怎来选民啊。Rogers 教授讲，伊有调查，啊，像是讲即寡学生囡仔，因过去投马英九的人，即马因对马英九的感觉安怎？伊讲56%的人对即马足不满的。哦，85% is 太满意 ，OK，yeah， 差不多70% 的人对非常不满意。啊，即款人若搁投票，应该是袂投马英九。We have 8 more minutes. Okay.
Rogers 教授，我那个英文讲的不好，我用中文讲。罗哲斯教授，您听得懂中文吗？啊，那我用中文讲，不要用台语了哈。那我们台湾哈，怎么样更改国号啊？台湾如果不更改国号，那外交根本不用谈了啊，根本不用谈了。你说中华民国一定死路一条啊！那台湾怎么更改国号？如果台湾主动更改国号，比如说民进党执政主动更改国号，那的话美国会反对啊，然后中国也反对，美国说你们台湾是 troublemaker 啊，那这样说压力一下来啊，我相信这是民进党啊或者陈水扁他不敢更改国号的原因呢，因为美国压力太大了。那我们要怎么更改国号？我觉得这个问题很简单嘛。比如说我们台湾现在有23个邦交国，对，明年我们执政了，23个邦交国，那中国他一定会想尽办法把这23个邦交国把它拿走啊，他可能花了几百万美金、几千万美金了，那我们就送给他嘛，对不对？啊，然后我们跟美国讲，我们不得不，对不对？那中国是 troublemaker， 他把承认中华民国的友邦一个一个拿走，那我们是不得已的时候，我们被迫更改国号，台湾共和国。我们是被迫独立，不是主动独立的。
He said you are right.
冷笑话，无巧。
认为啊，这个中华民国是一个残存的国家。中华民国是剩，如果严格的讲，它只有金门、马祖。台湾、台澎金马这是台湾，所以台湾呢，包括台澎金、台湾跟澎湖啊，这从1945年以来啊，从日本投降以后啊，它就是一直是这个样子。但是我们很多人都搞不清楚、认识不清，所以因为我们受到很多统派媒体的这个宣传啊，结果大家都上当了，什么都搞不清楚了，就是这个样子。谢谢。
Rogers 教授同意你的讲法。有问题无？有意思吼。
Well, thank you for your speech, but I will ask you a question. How can we change our idea to support ROC? Because the DPP, their future policy determination said their name of the country is ROC. I oppose this, but they cannot, if they cannot change this policy, we cannot support DPP. This is a very important thing. How can we change this situation? And usually, when I go to a bank, I don't write 中华民国几年, I will write 2000 some year. But bank will say, you can't write this. So I said, then I will deposit my money or draw money from you. So I change. So how we can change the idea of DTP supporting ROC as the name of the country?
这个问题是讲，咱要安怎来改变民进党政府来用这个 Republic of China ROC 这个名？伊讲若是安尼，伊无法度接受这个民进党的这个想法。
Okay, first, I won't speak for everybody in Minjindang, but I think I would be right to say people in Minjindang don't support Zhonghua Minguo, right? But the problem is, what choice do they have at the present time? I know there's been a couple people up here who have been involved in Minjindang government. Maybe they can speak better than I. I don't want to call it, but what do you do, right? The reality is, already when Abian was president, and when Abian's government started downplaying Zhonghua Minguo, what happened? Beijing starts screaming. The United States says, "Oh, don't be so provocative. Stop! You're causing trouble." So it's not that the Minjindang supports. Of course, if the Minjindang could change the constitution tomorrow, eliminate the name Republic of China, eliminate that whole connection, they would. They can't, realistically, not so realistically. I think the only answer at the present time, again, ties back to what I was talking about. First of all, to within Taiwan and to the international community, an accurate representation of what people in Taiwan want. And the second is, whoever the next president is, and the next government just basically stops using the term. And the Minjindang government did this to some extent last time, right? Stop using the term Zhonghua Minguo. Refer to Taiwan. Don't make any official announcement that we're eliminating the Zhonghua Minguo Xianfa. Don't say anything, but just gradually let it change. That's the only, unfortunately, I don't know, I'm not smart enough, obviously, to know of a better alternative than that. Because any other alternative is going to create conflict that Taiwan doesn't want right now. And I think, again, Xiaobi Kim was talking earlier about making sure that the party is trying to make sure they communicate in a way that the Americans and the Chinese, that everybody will understand the position. And that's going to take some diplomacy and some careful language. But I don't think that means that I don't know anybody in the Minjindang who says, I am proudly a citizen of Zhonghua Minguo. Yeah.
伊讲伊相信民进党的人也无支持 Republic of China 这个名，但是我现实上因无法度来回应这个名。伊感觉讲应该台湾人去甲世界人尽量去讲咱台湾人的希望甲愿望。另外就是讲后摆若是万里总统选赢，总统会使尽量莫讲 ROC， 讲台湾，尽量讲台湾这个名，讲这方法会让电话上会让改变这个现实。
这个几个间，
背景的问题啊。
要建国吼，真简单啦。建国运动做过了10档啦，老百姓家己做起。我教一个上简单的啦， 上简单诶吼，就是你诶名姓并写台湾国台北市地址，家己封啦，台湾国封先挂落啦。海外朋友若要写买转来吼，写台湾国甲写你要台诶地址啦。台湾国拢写落，人问讲你对人，我台湾国台北人安尼，台湾国高雄人啦。公关事都成啊啦，对无？大家有同意我讲诶无？恁讲地址咧改台湾国无？你都唔改因啊？地址咧改台湾国无？即摆拢改啦吼，你若写买转来，拢写台湾国好无？好，你台湾国一只小姐。
Just again say that it's very easy to really make Taiwan nation. What you need to do is change use Taiwan country as your business card. You mail letters Taiwan country, Republic of Taiwan, for example, instead of using all overseas. That in that way we will build the momentum and make everybody recognize Taiwan as a nation.
OK， 咱感谢主持人高良英先生吼，咱利用上热烈的鼓声来感谢咱的我咱所在地，搁有20分钟的休困，外口有准备